Rain fell hard on the city that evening. Not soft rain, not gentle rain. It was the kind of rain that soaked clothes in seconds and made people hurry, heads down, hearts closed. Cars rushed past, splashing dirty water onto the sidewalk. Streetlights blinked like tired eyes. Ethan Cole stepped out of the black luxury car and adjusted his coat. He was a well-known millionaire. Calm, powerful, always in control. People knew his face from magazines and business news. Tonight, he had finished a long dinner meeting at one of the most expensive restaurants in the city. Everything around him was warm, bright, and protected from the storm. Then he saw her. At first, he thought it was just a shadow near the edge of the building. But the shadow moved. Ethan slowed his steps. Near the restaurant wall, sitting on the cold ground, was a little black girl. She looked no older than 10. Her clothes were thin and wet. Her hair was soaked and stuck to her face. She was holding a small food box, trying to shield it from the rain. She was eating in the rain. Ethan stopped walking. People passed by her. Some looked. Most didn't. No one stopped. The girl lowered her head as she ate, like she didn't want to be seen. Her hands were shaking, not just from the cold, but from hunger. The rain hit the ground around her, splashing her shoes. One shoe had a broken sole. Ethan felt something tighten in his chest. He told himself to keep walking. He had meetings tomorrow, flights to catch, problems bigger than this moment. That was what he always told himself. But his feet didn't move. He looked closer. The girl wasn't begging. She wasn't crying. She wasn't asking for help. That was what made it worse. She ate slowly, carefully, like the food was precious. Like it might be her last meal. A sudden memory hit him. Not the girl's face. Her bracelet. On her left wrist was a small silver bracelet with a tiny blue charm. Simple, cheap, old. Ethan's breath caught. He knew that bracelet. Years ago, on a warm summer day, he had given that bracelet to his adoptive daughter. He remembered kneeling in front of her, smiling, promising her that she would never be alone again. He remembered her laugh. He remembered how tight she held his hand. His heart started to race. No, he whispered to himself. It couldn't be. His daughter lived in a big house. She had her own room, her own bed, warm meals, safety, didn't she? The girl lifted her head for just 1 second. Ethan saw her face clearly then. His world tilted. It was her, his adoptive daughter, sitting on the ground, eating in the rain, cold, thin, alone. For a moment, everything went silent in Ethan's head. The noise of the city faded. The rain slowed. He felt dizzy, like the ground might give way under his feet. Ow, he breathed. His hands began to shake. He took 1 step forward, then stopped. Fear filled him. Not fear of danger. Fear of truth. What if he was wrong? What if he was right? The girl noticed him standing there. Her eyes widened. Panic flashed across her face. She quickly closed the food box and tried to stand, slipping on the wet ground. She grabbed her bag and turned away. Wait, Ethan said softly. His voice sounded strange to his own ears. She froze. Slowly, she turned back. Rain ran down her face like tears, but she did not cry. Her eyes were filled with fear, not relief. He took another step closer. It's me, he said, keeping his voice low. Gentle. You don't have to be scared. Her lips trembled. Then she did something that broke him. She shook her head. No, she whispered. Please don't. Don't what? Don't help me? Don't take me home? Don't see me like this? She stepped back, clutching the food box to her chest like a shield. I'm fine, she said quickly, though her voice was weak. I don't need anything. Ethan felt a sharp pain tear through his chest. Fine? Nothing about this was fine. Rain soaked both of them now. A rich man in an expensive coat. A little girl with nothing but leftovers and fear. Why are you here? He asked, his voice breaking. She looked away. Her shoulders shook. For a long moment, she said nothing. Then she whispered words that shattered him completely. Please, she said, don't take me back. Ethan's heart stopped. Back where? As thunder rolled above them, Ethan realized this was not an accident. This was not a misunderstanding. This was a secret, a terrible one. And whatever the truth was, it was about to destroy him. The rain did not stop. It kept falling, heavy and cold, like it wanted to wash the city clean. Ethan stood there, frozen, while the little girl backed away from him step by step. Her eyes stayed on his face, full of fear, not love. That fear hurt more than the rain. "Please," she said again, her voice shaking. "Don't take me back." Ethan opened his mouth, but no words came out. 1,000 questions filled his mind, all crashing together. Back where? What happened? Why was she afraid of him? He slowly took off his coat and held it out. "You're cold," he said gently. "Take this." She shook her head fast. "No, if I take it, you won't leave." Those words hit him hard. He lowered the coat, his hand trembling. "I don't want to hurt you," he said. "I just want to understand." She looked around, nervous like someone was watching. Then she turned and began to walk away, fast but careful, avoiding the deep puddles. Ethan followed, keeping distance, afraid that if he got too close, she would run. They walked through narrow streets, far from the bright restaurant lights. The city here was darker, quieter. The rain sounded louder between old buildings. She stopped near a bus stop with a broken glass wall. Under it, there was a small pile of cardboard and a thin blanket. "This is where I stay," she said softly. Ethan felt sick. He looked at the ground. There was no bed, no safety, just cold concrete and trash washed in by the rain. "You live here?" he asked. She nodded, eyes down. "Sometimes. I move a lot." "Why?" His voice cracked. She stayed silent. A small figure suddenly ran toward them from behind the bus stop. A younger boy, maybe 6 or 7, wearing clothes too big for him. He smiled when he saw the girl. "You came back," the boy said. "Did you eat?" She nodded and quickly opened the food box. Inside were a few pieces left. She handed most of it to him. Ethan's chest tightened. "You didn't eat much," he said quietly. She shrugged. "He needs it more." The boy sat down and ate happily, unaware of the storm inside Ethan's heart. When he finished, he hugged the girl and ran back under the shelter. Ethan looked at her, truly looked at her. She was thin, too thin, dark circles under her eyes, small scars on her hands, signs he had never noticed before. "When did you leave home?" he asked. She swallowed hard. "A few weeks ago." "A few weeks." His voice rose before he could stop it. He took a breath. "Why didn't you call me?" Her hands curled into fists. "I did. Many times." His heart dropped. "I never got any calls." She laughed, but there was no joy in it. "They took my phone. Said I was lying. Said I wanted attention." "They?" Ethan asked. She hesitated. Then she spoke, slowly like each word hurt. "After you got married, things changed." Ethan closed his eyes. His new wife. The big house. The staff. The life he thought was perfect. "She didn't want me there," the girl said. "She said I was not really your daughter. That I was just a favor you did once." Ethan felt anger rise, hot and sharp. "Why didn't anyone tell me?" "Because no one listened," she replied. "When you are rich, people listen to you. When you are a kid, they don't." The rain soaked her hair again. She wiped her face quickly. "She said I should be grateful," the girl continued. "That I was lucky. So I stopped talking." Ethan's knees felt weak. He leaned against the bus stop wall. Then one night, she whispered, "She told me I didn't belong there anymore." Ethan looked at her in shock. "She sent you away?" "She didn't stop me," the girl said. She smiled. Silence fell between them, broken only by rain. Ethan felt something inside him break. This was not just neglect. This was cruelty. He reached out slowly and placed his coat around her shoulders. This time, she did not stop him. "I didn't protect you," he said, tears in his eyes. "I should have seen." She looked up at him, pain and hope fighting in her eyes. "I didn't want to hate you," she whispered, "but I felt invisible." Ethan knew then that money could not fix this. Power could not erase it. Trust was broken, and fixing it would cost him everything. The rain finally slowed, but the cold stayed. Ethan sat on the hard bench under the broken bus stop roof, his coat now around the girl's shoulders. She sat beside him, small and quiet, like she was ready to disappear at any moment. For a long time, neither of them spoke. Ethan stared at the wet road in front of them. Cars passed, lights flashing, people going home to warmth and comfort. He had built an empire from nothing. He had faced boardrooms full of powerful men. But nothing in his life had prepared him for this silence. "Tell me everything," he said softly. "Please." She took a deep breath. Her fingers twisted the edge of his coat. "If I tell you," she said, "you won't send me back? I won't force you to do anything," Ethan replied. "I promise." She nodded slowly. "At first," she began, "it wasn't bad. She smiled when you were there. She hugged me when people watched." Ethan closed his eyes. "But when you traveled," the girl continued, "she changed. Her voice changed. Her face changed." "How?" he asked. "She would say things," the girl said quietly. "Small things. Like, 'Don't touch that. You don't know how to act. You should be thankful.'" Ethan felt shame crawl through him. He remembered those trips. Long meetings. Late flights. Always telling himself he would make time later. "She took my food sometimes," the girl went on. "Said I didn't need as much. Said I should learn control." Ethan's jaw tightened. "She made me eat alone," she said. "In my room. With the door closed." Ethan's hands clenched. "Why didn't the staff help you?" She looked at him sadly. "They were scared. She said they would lose their jobs. Some of them stopped looking at me." His chest felt tight, like he couldn't breathe. "She told me not to bother you," the girl said. "Said you were busy. Said you would choose her anyway." Ethan swallowed hard. "That's not true. I know that now," she replied. "But then, I was just a kid." She paused, then spoke again, slower this time. "One day, she got really angry." "What?" Ethan asked. "I broke a glass," the girl said. "It was an accident." Her voice shook. She yelled. She said I was careless. That I was a mistake. Ethan's eyes burned. "She locked me in my room that night," the girl said. "No dinner. No light." Ethan stood up suddenly, anger exploding inside him. He turned away, breathing hard, trying to control himself. "She told me," the girl continued, "that if I told you, you would send me away. Back to where I came from." Ethan felt like the ground was falling away beneath him. "She said no one really wanted a broken kid," the girl whispered. Ethan turned back, his face pale. "That is a lie," he said firmly. "A cruel lie." The girl shrugged weakly. It felt real. She pulled her knees closer to her chest. "After that, things got worse. She would blame me when something went wrong. If she was angry, it was my fault." Ethan knelt in front of her. "And the night you left," her eyes filled with tears. She wiped them quickly. "She told me to pack a bag. Just one." His heart pounded. She said, "You don't belong here anymore." The girl's voice broke. She said if I stayed, things would get worse. Ethan felt tears run down his face. He didn't stop them. "I waited for you," the girl said. "I thought you would come to my room. But you didn't." Ethan remembered that night. A late call. A business problem. He had slept in his office. "I couldn't stay anymore," she whispered. "So I left." Ethan reached out and gently held her hands. They were cold. "I failed you," he said. "I should have protected you." She looked at him, searching his face. "Why didn't you see me?" That question cut deeper than any knife. "I thought giving you a good life was enough," Ethan said. "I was wrong." The girl looked away. "I stopped feeling like your daughter," she said. "I felt like a guest who stayed too long." Ethan shook his head. "You were never a guest." Silence fell again. Then she said something that crushed him completely. "I didn't leave because I hated her," she said softly. "I left because I didn't want to hate you." Ethan closed his eyes. In that moment, he knew this was not just about bringing her home. This was about facing a truth he had ignored, and making it right, no matter the cost. The night grew quiet after her last words. Even the rain seemed to pause like it was listening. Ethan stayed on his knees in front of the girl, his hands still holding hers. They were small and cold, but they did not pull away. "I didn't want to hate you." Those words echoed in his mind again and again. Ethan slowly stood up and stepped back, running a hand through his wet hair. His chest felt tight, like something heavy was pressing down on him. He had faced losses before, bad deals, broken partnerships, but this was different. This pain had a face. It had a name, and it was sitting right in front of him. "I need to fix this," he said quietly. The girl shook her head right away. "You can't," she said. "Not like that." He looked at her confused. "What do you mean?" "If you take me back there," she said, "everything will be the same. Maybe worse." Ethan opened his mouth to argue, then stopped. She wasn't wrong. A big house did not mean safety. Money did not mean love. "I won't take you back there," he said slowly. Her eyes widened. "You won't." "No," he replied. "Not until you feel safe. Not until you trust me." She stared at him, unsure. Adults had made promises to her before. Promises that broke easily. Ethan reached into his pocket and pulled out his phone. He looked at it for a long moment, then turned it off and placed it on the bench. "I'm staying here tonight," he said. "With you." Her voice was small. "Why?" "Because," Ethan said, "I should have been here a long time ago." They sat together under the broken shelter. The little boy from before slept nearby, wrapped in the thin blanket. Ethan watched his daughter as she leaned against the wall, eyes half closed, fighting sleep. She trusted the wall more than she trusted him. That hurt, but he understood why. Hours passed. When the sky began to lighten, Ethan stood up again. His body was tired, but his mind was clear. "I'm going to do things differently," he said. "But first, I need to listen." She looked up at him. "Listen to what?" "To you," he answered. "Not my wife. Not the staff. Not anyone else." The girl was quiet for a moment. Then she said, "I don't want to go to court." Ethan nodded. "We won't rush anything." "I don't want cameras," she added. "I don't want people to stare." "I'll protect you," he said. "Even from my own world." She studied his face, searching for lies. She didn't find any, but she wasn't ready to believe yet. When morning came, Ethan took her to a small hotel nearby. Nothing fancy. No gold doors. No cameras waiting. Just a clean room, warm blankets, and breakfast that came on a simple plate. She ate slowly, still careful, like the food might disappear. "You can eat," Ethan said gently. "There's more." She nodded but still saved half. After breakfast, Ethan made calls. Not to lawyers. Not to reporters. He called his wife. His voice was calm but cold. "Where is she?" he asked. There was silence on the other end. Then excuses. Lies. Anger. Ethan listened once. Then he ended the call. Something inside him hardened. He looked at his daughter, sitting on the bed, holding a cup of hot chocolate with both hands. "I believe the wrong people," he said. "I trusted comfort over truth." She didn't respond. "I'm sorry," he said again. "Not the kind of sorry that ends today. The kind that lasts." She finally spoke. "What if I don't forgive you?" Ethan swallowed. "Then I'll still be here." She frowned slightly. "Even if I push you away?" "Yes. Even if I never come home?" "I'll build a new one," he said. Those words made her eyes fill with tears. She quickly wiped them away, turning her face aside. Later that day, Ethan packed one bag. Not for her. For himself. He left the mansion behind. Left the guards. Left the life that had made him blind. That night, as his daughter fell asleep in the warm hotel bed, Ethan sat in a chair beside her, watching her breathe. He did not touch his phone. He did not think about money. For the first time in years, Ethan understood something clearly. Being a father was not about providing a house. It was about showing up. And this time, he was not leaving. Morning sunlight filled the small hotel room, soft and warm. It was very different from the cold rain of the night before. Ethan sat in the chair near the window, awake all night, watching his daughter sleep. For the first time in weeks, her face looked calm. No fear. No tensión. Just quiet rest. Ethan knew one thing clearly now. He could not go back to his old life. When the girl woke up, she sat up slowly, confused for a moment. Then she saw Ethan still there. He hadn't left. "You stayed," she said. "Yes," Ethan replied. "I told you I would." She nodded, but said nothing. Trust did not return in one night. Ethan understood that. After breakfast, Ethan took her for a walk. Not to a mall. Not to a fancy place. Just a quiet park with wet grass and empty benches. They walked side by side. Not holding hands yet. Just walking. "I need to tell you something," Ethan said. She stopped walking. "Is it bad?" "It might feel big," he said honestly, "but I think it's right." She waited. "I'm not going back to the mansion," Ethan said. "Not now. Maybe not ever." Her eyes widened. "Because of me? Because of what I failed to see," he answered. "Because comfort made me careless." She looked down. "People will talk." "They already do," Ethan said. "Let them." That same day, Ethan made another call. This one was not calm. He confronted his wife face to face. She was angry, defensive, cold. "She's dramatic," the woman said. "She made things up." Ethan looked at her and felt nothing. No love, no doubt. "You locked a child in her room," he said. "You starved her. You scared her. She was not even yours," the woman snapped. That was the moment Ethan knew it was over. She is my daughter, he said firmly, and you will never be near her again. Legal action started fast. Not loud, not public, quiet but strong. The staff were questioned. Some cried. Some admitted the truth. Some had tried to help but were afraid. The truth could not hide anymore. The girl stayed in the small hotel, then moved to a simple rented house nearby. 2 rooms. Clean. Safe. No guards. No cameras. No strangers watching her. Ethan lived there too. He learned things he had never done before. He cooked. Burned food. Learned again. He waited outside school, even when she told him he didn't have to. He listened when she talked. And when she didn't. Some nights, she woke up from bad dreams. She didn't call his name. She just sat quietly. Ethan would sit on the floor outside her room, saying nothing, just being there. Slowly, something changed. One evening, she handed him a drawing. It showed 2 people under an umbrella. No faces, just together. I made it for you, she said quickly, then walked away. Ethan held that paper like it was gold. But the world did not stay quiet. News leaked. Millionaire leaves mansion. Family conflict. Adopted child involved. People judged without knowing. Some blamed the girl. Some praised Ethan. None of it mattered. One night, the girl asked, "Are you angry because I ruined your life?" Ethan knelt in front of her. "You didn't ruin my life," he said. "You saved it." She looked confused. "I was rich," he said, "but I was empty." Her eyes filled with tears. "I didn't want to be a problem." "You were never a problem," he said. "You were the truth." Days turned into weeks. One afternoon, while it rained lightly again, Ethan and his daughter stood by the window. "Do you still hate the rain?" Ethan asked. She thought for a moment. "Not as much," she said. "Not when I'm not alone." That answer stayed with Ethan. He knew this road would be long. Forgiveness was not fast. Healing was not simple. But he had made his decision. He chose his daughter. Over money. Over pride. Over his old life. And this time, nothing would take that choice away. Life in the small house moved slowly. There were no loud mornings, no rushing staff, no busy phones. Just quiet sounds, kettle boiling, birds outside, footsteps on the wooden floor. Ethan learned quickly that healing did not come in big moments. It came in small, careful steps. His daughter still locked her door at night. Ethan never asked her to stop. Every morning, he made breakfast. Sometimes she ate with him. Sometimes she took her plate to her room. Ethan never complained. He only smiled and said, "Food will be here whenever you're ready." At school, she sat alone at lunch. Ethan noticed this when he came early one day and watched from far away. He wanted to step in, to fix it, but he remembered his promise, to listen, not control. That afternoon, she said something unexpected. "Can you walk me to school tomorrow?" she asked quietly. Ethan looked up, surprised. Of course. The next morning, they walked together. Not hand in hand, just side by side. Other parents stared. Some whispered. Ethan felt anger rise, but he pushed it down. This was not about them. Halfway to school, it started to rain lightly. The girl froze. Her breathing changed. Her shoulders tensed. Ethan stopped walking. He slowly took off his jacket and held it out. "You can wear it," he said, "or we can wait." She stared at the sky, then at the jacket. After a long moment, she took it. "Thank you," she whispered. It was a small moment, but it felt huge. That night, she had a bad dream. Ethan heard movement from her room. He didn't knock. He just sat on the floor outside her door like he always did. After a while, the door opened a little. "Are you still there?" she asked. "Yes," Ethan said softly. She sat beside him on the floor. Not touching, just close enough. "I dreamed I was locked in again," she said, "and no one came." Ethan felt his heart break all over again. "I'm here now," he said, "and I will come. Every time." She nodded, eyes tired. Weeks passed. The girl started drawing again. Painting too. She covered her walls with colors, dark at first, then lighter. Ethan never asked what they meant. One day, she painted rain falling on a house. But this time, the house had light in the windows. Ethan smiled. Court letters arrived. Meetings were scheduled. Ethan handled them quietly, away from her. He never spoke badly about his wife in front of her. He didn't want anger to grow where healing was still fragile. One afternoon, she asked, Are they mad at me? No, Ethan said. They are facing consequences. She nodded. I don't want anyone else to feel like I did. Those words stayed with Ethan. So he did something new. He started a small program. Not with his name. Not with big headlines. Just help for kids in care. Safe homes. Listening adults. Quiet support. The girl helped choose colors for the logo. Rain came again one evening. Harder this time. Ethan and his daughter stood on the porch, watching it fall. She took a step forward. He waited. She stepped into the rain. Ethan stayed close, but didn't pull her back. It's still cold, she said. Yes, he replied. But it doesn't feel scary, she added. She turned and looked at him. Because you're here. Ethan nodded, unable to speak. Later that night, she did something that made him freeze. She knocked on his door. Can I stay here for a bit? She asked. He moved aside immediately. She sat on the chair. Quiet. Safe. Before going back to her room, she paused. Can I call you Dad again? She asked, barely above a whisper. Ethan's eyes filled with tears. Yes, he said. Anytime. Healing did not erase the past, but it changed the future. And for the first time, both of them believed that tomorrow could be gentle. The morning sun broke through the clouds, golden and warm. After weeks of rain, the city looked different, cleaner, brighter. Ethan and his daughter stood at the small park near their home. She held a notebook full of drawings and scribbles, colors spilling across every page. He watched her flip through it, proud and silent. Do you want to show someone? He asked gently. She hesitated, then nodded. Yes, but only you. Ethan smiled. Then let's go. They walked hand in hand for the first time in months, slowly, without rushing. She led him to the small local community center where some of the children in her program met. A few familiar faces from school were there. The little boy from the bus stop ran up and hugged her. She laughed, a sound that warmed Ethan's heart more than any boardroom victory ever could. Inside, the children painted and played. Ethan sat back, letting her take the lead. She introduced him quietly. This is Dad, she said, her voice steady. He's helping me now. Some of the children whispered. Some stared. Ethan felt a flicker of discomfort at being in the spotlight, but he ignored it. This was not about him. It was about her. Later, outside the center, Ethan asked gently, Do you want to visit the mansion? She shook her head. No, that place, it wasn't home. Not really. Not for me. Ethan nodded, understanding. Money and walls could not replace trust and safety. He had learned that lesson the hard way. Instead, he brought her to the foundation office he had quietly started. A small building, but full of life and hope. They set up rooms for children who had been abandoned, mistreated, or silenced. They painted walls together, hung pictures, and planned programs for the kids. She felt in control, important, safe. One afternoon, while they were organizing supplies, a reporter from a local paper tried to approach them. Ethan stepped in front of his daughter, shielding her. She doesn't want this, he said firmly. The reporter backed off, and his daughter smiled at him. For the first time in a long while, she felt protected by someone who truly cared. Weeks later, they attended a small gathering for the children in the foundation. Parents, volunteers, and some community members were present. Ethan's daughter stood on the small stage, nervous but determined. She took a deep breath and spoke. He didn't save me with money, she said, voice clear. He saved me by staying. The room was silent. Ethan's chest tightened. That sentence, simple and honest, captured everything. The nights she spent cold and alone, the fear in her eyes, the pain that had gone unnoticed, all acknowledged in one moment. After the speech, she ran down and hugged Ethan tightly. He held her close, feeling the warmth and trust rebuild between them. They had been through storms, literal and emotional, but here they were, together. Later that evening, they walked home. The sun was setting, painting the sky with orange and pink streaks. She held his hand, not out of fear, but out of choice. Do you think we could be happy? She asked quietly. Ethan smiled, his eyes glistening. We already are, and it's only the beginning. At home, they hung her drawings on the walls. Each painting told a story of strength, courage, and hope. They laughed while trying to cook dinner together. Mistakes were made, burned bread, spilled soup, but it didn't matter. These small moments were their foundation, stronger than any mansion or luxury ever could be. That night, she looked at Ethan and said softly, "I think I forgive you." Ethan knelt in front of her, tears falling freely. "I'm not asking for forgiveness," he said. "I'm asking for a chance to be better. To be here always." She nodded, her small hand resting in his. They didn't need to speak more. Words were not necessary. The bond they had rebuilt was enough. Outside, the rain returned lightly, but they watched it together from the window. It no longer frightened her. It was just rain. Something natural. Something they could face together. For Ethan and his daughter, life had changed forever. The past was not forgotten, but it no longer controlled them. They had a new home, not defined by walls or wealth, but by trust, love, and presence. And for the first time in a long time, both of them looked forward to tomorrow, together. The storm had ended. The healing had begun. And a new beginning awaited.